Hello, my name is Dr. Maya Byfield. My business is The Phenomenal STEMist. I'm so excited to be here in Orange County because it's where I live. I live in Apopka, Florida. And I decided to make this business because I saw a need for underrepresented students to be successful in STEM, which stands for science, technology, engineering, math. And the best way I can do that is just provide products for parents to prepare them, whether it's a book or online STEM camps or just video podcasting. My goal is to transform this community, especially those who are underrepresented. And the way to do that is to help parents understand their children's minds and basically develop them at different stages of their lives to be prepared for a successful STEM career. Thank you so much. That's why I'm here.
Hey, hey, hey. It's the phenomenal Stemets. What's going on, everybody? I have a special person in time. Special person. Special person. Long
Back at
time
it.
no see.
Yes, back at it.
Back at it, pinch hitting. But not necessarily pinch hitting because he's still in the credits. He's still in the credits. We were just talking about to Bryant last month about Brian was like, yo, when am I gonna get in the cartoon? I still see Jamal, and I'm like, I got you. But I said, I'm so glad that I didn't erase Jamal. Jamal, you still in your name's
Still
not
in the
there,
loop.
but
Still in the loop.
your imagery is still there because once once a phenomenal STEM is always a phenomenal STEM is. So glad to see Jamal Hardish back
Yes.
at it. Computer scientist extraordinaire. And of course, Bryant is in the house. Bryant Senior. Uh, Jamal and Bryant, have y'all met each other? Y'all were together
Yeah,
at
yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. Well, yeah, he was in.
Wow.
you know.
Right.
That means you've been here a long time, Bryant.
Yeah, he's been
Has it?
holding it down.
Yeah, I'm about to say, has it been like a half a year, 6 months?
I
It's
think it
been it's
should be
been a good
6 months.
minute.
Yeah, I think you've been
Yeah,
It's been
doing
a good
it
minute.
getting
since
picked on for 6 months. That's what we're talking about.
yeah, because I think we started in December doing the Oakwood, try to get people out there, and I'm like, you need to join me on Phenomenal STEMist. And I think
Hmm.
starting in January, you were with me. So
Y'all
no,
just
it's
needed somebody to pick on. Yeah.
it's more than 6 months.
Nah, man, you holding it down. You holding it down for I.
It's a
No, what
year.
I learned about STEMIS is y'all are bullies. Y'all are highly educated, calculated, and y'all have tested this in so many different controlled environments that y'all are so good at it that I haven't even noticed it. I'm just happy to be here.
How do you like how do you like your imagery on the opening credits? How do
Well,
you
I,
like
I like that you got the watch on the right side, but everything else, I mean, I'm not going to say what our inside joke is,
yeah,
but
no, don't say the
I'm,
inside joke.
I'm glad that there was a side profile. I didn't see that at first. All I saw was the front profile. So
There's a
we
side
good.
profile of you waving, sitting
They might as well
down.
have me come out of a trash can. Everybody else doing STEM work, and I'm just like, hey, how you doing? Yeah.
This guy.
So, but
Listen.
I'm thankful that it took this long.
Y'all see
You.
my Santa Claus?
I see you. I see you getting in the holiday spirit.
I'm in the holiday spirit.
Ugly sweater. Darn
What
it.
you said? Come on.
I should have worn my ugly sweater.
Yeah, it's the holidays, and you knew the topic. Y'all, I didn't give you the memo, so that's on me. That's that's on me. I didn't give you the memo, so that's on me. All right, we're gonna jump into it. It's the holiday season, and the conversation that we're having is on workplace or work life balance. Work life balance. And I didn't get my computer in order, so I'm gonna have to be looking at the side for my questions. But listen, it's all good. Work life uh balance. Especially for the holidays. Especially for the holidays. Um so my first question to you is, how does the holiday season typically disrupt your normal work life rhythm? Especially for those of us who are in the STEM fields, where we might have certain projects that we have to keep going at it. How does the holiday does the holidays disrupt your work life season rhythm? Like not me. So Brian, just to remind everybody, Brian works for Uncle Sam, and I work for Uncle Sunshine State. So academia and government academia and government, we get all the holidays. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. I'm off right now. Are you on vacation, Brian?
I could be, but what I've done is I've actually spread out. We have user lose leave in the federal government. Now, this year's course has been different. And normally I average about maybe 150 hours of user lose. This time, not as much. So, what I've done, since I like my team, I actually go
Mhm.
in and I leave about 2 hours early each day that I go in. So, I spread that out up until maybe the first week in January. Because if I don't, then I give it away, and then I could donate it, but who does that?
Who 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 donates time? Come on now. All right. So what about the real folk who really work for
Really?
private institutions?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if mine's a good example because again, my company, man, they're really strong in benefits and kind of work life balance. Really, really good work life balance. So I haven't really had like any horror stories, but I think one of the things that saves me is just making sure that like when I know things are coming up, just being prepped for them. So like I've started early November, late September, making sure everybody had the expectations they needed. Like, hey, you know what? Come come mid December, these don't come looking for me. Don't come looking for my team, because we're gonna be gone till January, and so if, as long as you kind of set those and you start making them guidelines, it typically is okay. But yeah, we typically shut down. I think the week before and the week after, something like that. And then, typically December is kind of one of those you can catch people, you can't catch people. And so, yeah, you just always have to, it's good to have your stuff done before December anyway. But
Absolutely.
yeah, that's the main thing is just, hey, just setting those expectations, and making sure that you've done your part so that when January rolls around, you'll be right back, you'll be able to pick that stuff up and get back to it.
I love that. Set the expectations ahead of time. Make plans ahead of time. So if you have projects, don't make projects high level
Hmm.
in December. Like don't
Hmm.
plan for that. And if you do, man, you're missing out on life. I mean, and there's some people maybe they don't have family for the
Hmm.
holidays, and so they say, you know what, I'm just gonna work through the holidays because I get lonely, and I can respect that as well. But for people like me who love um the holiday season, I make sure I understand like there's some things that I won't do. But at the same time, like with me, I'm off, right? I'm not I'm technically working until I believe my last work day is Tuesday. Um and I do I plan on I'm planning on doing a couple of meetings for
Hmm.
brainstorming for grants and things like that, but it's my choice to schedule a
Yeah.
meeting next week. Because I mean, I don't need to be totally off all week long. Yeah. What about you, Kaboy? Does the holiday season now? You're a baby maker. Oh, not. Hold on. Let me. No, sorry, not baby maker. Hold on. Let me say this right. You deliver babies. You deliver babies, and babies don't
That's two
decide.
different things. I want
Right.
to say that that is two different
Two
things.
totally different things.
But
Uh,
and medicine in general,
right.
it's a 24/7 service. So
Yeah.
the good thing is, I mean, if I had my own practice and I was working on my own, then yes, I would have to suffer almost every year. But because I work in a group, we share the responsibility. So I work Thanksgiving. I work all through Thanksgiving and the weekend, but then I'm off for Christmas and New Year's. So
Okay.
you plan. Like we already know, a year in advance which holiday I'm working for the year.
Got it. Got it. So you planning? Oh, that's a common theme I'm hearing. Shout out to everybody who's watching. My mom who's watching. Mommy says, "Good to see you, Jamal."
Good see you, Mrs. Blackfoot.
But in terms of STEM, you know, Dr.
No,
Harris,
you.
she's a physician.
Yeah.
Um, Jamal is a computer. He's a director. Like he's in leadership, but for a pharmaceutical company in context of technology, right?
Yeah.
Bryant
But no,
works for the
you.
government. Go ahead, Jamal.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say you have to put those boundaries on there because just like you were saying, some like different projects they'll pop up. So like maybe a month ago, some project just popped up on the radar, and you start planning for it, and the deadlines for it start to shrink because they want to get stuff done. And so yeah, that's when you have to kind of push back and you have to do it. Some stuff you can do, some stuff you can't do. But yeah, you have to balance it because with the STEM profession, they'll because everything's kind of important.
Still working.
Everything, and just like for even all the for everybody, when someone comes to you and wants you to do something, it's fire, fire, fire. Like we got to do it right then. And so yeah, so that's the biggest thing. Just hey, you know what? This is what we can do. This is what we can't do. And then if you're working hard and you're showing the people that that you're just not out here lollygagging, then most times it's respected anyway. So this works out.
I love what you said. It's like a party in college. Everybody's party is the one you can't miss.
Yeah, yeah, you got to be there.
You gotta be there. You
Like we
can't miss
got we got to
it.
get this done. We got
It's,
to
you
get this done
have to
right
do
now.
it. You have to do it.
Right now.
No, no, not necessarily. Brian, you look like you have something to say about the parties in college.
I wasn't invited to any parties. So
Me neither.
I don't know about that. I do have a question for you, Mike.
All
You
right.
mentioned that, and I'll use these words. These aren't the words you use, but near the holiday season, like Christmas, you're kind of coasting. How do you teach your students that the work world will not doesn't always allow you to coast? So
Mm,
are there certain assignments that you're giving them that says while it may not be due at Christmas, it's due right before you go on break? Or is it that you're saying, okay, here's an assignment, but it's not due till after January 1st?
that's a good question. So I don't. So my all my classes end before Christmas, so I never have to worry about the long breaks like 4 weeks breaks because our Christmas holiday. My last day of class was Thursday of last week, and we're not coming back till January 12th. I'm off
Mm.
for a month. Did I say I love my job? Did I say I love my job?
Rub it in, why don't you?
I love my job. Um, Granted, I told you, in theory, I'm working next week, right? But I'm not working a lot. I'm not teaching. My heavy work is my teaching load, and I am not teaching for a month. I love it. And so we don't. They finish their classes before then and start a whole new class on January 12th. But to your point, for things like Thanksgiving and spring break, where they're like a week, right? What I tend to do is just realize my audience. Like I don't unless I have to give a test after spring break, I'm not. I'm usually trying to make the test before spring break so that they can just enjoy their spring break. I'm teaching them. I tell them, listen, I didn't study during spring break, so I'm not expecting you to study during spring break. But if you are behind, you may want to take a couple of days to catch up. That's how I tell them. And then the week after spring break, I try to have some kind of review. If I give a test that week because I have to, because the schedule forces me to, then I have a review before I give them the test because I'm realistic. I'm realistic of, I guess, no. So enjoy the break. I want my students to take off and enjoy the break. And if they decide to do something, it's because they have been enjoying too much during the semester, and they need to hold themselves accountable to have wasted all the semester long. Now you have to start catching up, and you might have to use your break to catch up. So that's how I handle that. I hope that answers.
Okay, so you're not forcing anything. You're giving them. You're telling them it's self-managed. You know what you need.
Absolutely. They have to
Okay.
do that. I have to my goal as a professor in the college system is to get them to understand that their higher education is managed by them. I am not their teacher. I'm their professor. There's a difference. Yeah, and so I'm always trying to get them to understand that. But I have to help them because many of them are underprepared for that. So I will give them guidelines on how to do that, but they must do it. So you spoke about boundaries. I heard boundaries. I think Jamal said boundaries. What boundaries or routines have you found most effective for protecting your mental space during the holidays? Like let's say for December deadlines or your family expectations. How do you So two of you have families in the context of our fathers, husbands and fathers. And then myself and Kamoy, we don't, right? We have families in the context of our mothers and our families, right? How do y'all set boundaries?
I don't know. For me, it's you again. It's about planning, right? Like I try to plan accordingly so that nothing interferes with time that I set aside. Because you have like you if you don't plan for it, then work will just overtake it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if like say for instance when we went out of country, right? I knew I was gonna be gone for 2 weeks, and so I spent probably 2 weeks before just making sure that everybody had what they needed. Tried to you know get as much done as I can so that there wouldn't be a need for me. You know what I mean? So there wouldn't be a need. There wouldn't be any fires. Everybody would feel good and confident about what they had to do. So that meant making sure everybody had the right workloads, making sure, you know what I mean? So it just went about that stuff. So as long as that's the case, then you don't typically have to worry about it. The only time things get kind of out of balance is when you don't do that, right? When
You
you
don't
think
plan.
about it. Yeah, because then you still have obligations. And so when those obligations don't get met, people are calling you. People are you're having to fill assignments out and things like that. So typically that's how it go. Every now and then you might have a project that overtakes something that you're trying to do. But when that happens, it's typically because something just came up quickly and it's like, hey, you know what, I'm gonna go do this, or I'm gonna go do that. And then you still may have to fill some calls or do some stuff. But for the most part, times where it's planned out and thought out is typically works out well.
Brian, you were laughing. Like, what was so funny?
Because I thought the question was about when as fathers do we have me time or some time where
Oh yeah,
we're
that does. Come on,
responsible.
man.
Yeah, that doesn't
Come on,
happen.
man. Come
We're
on, man.
responsible all the time. We may not
Yeah,
have to do something, but we're always on call. Now,
always.
as far as work, I'm now learning how to take off because I spent most of my time just being thankful that I had a job. So I was just doing my work. But then I met a team of other Black and brown individuals who said, you have leave, you need to use it.
Take it.
So,
Yeah.
so what I do now is I'll let them know ahead of time, like, hey, I'm going to be off this time, get coverage, and I take off. I've made it where it's a schedule. I've got people who know, man, wait a minute, it's 11, 12 o'clock. You still here. Like, yeah, don't you need to leave? All right, that's my cue. I'm gone. So my job knows after a certain time, I'm not available. If I take leave, I'm not available. That's the beauty of the government, because we don't get paid extra time or comp time. When we're off, we're off. And that's how it should be. So I would tell everyone, when you take off, disconnect. If you still show some type of connection, you're giving them the opportunity to request. And then that puts you in a position where you may be looked at as the bad guy by saying no or setting up those boundaries. If you already create that disconnect, you don't have to set up a boundary. They can't get to you.
Love it. Love it. Use those all out of office automatic messages. You know what I'm saying?
And
And
just remember,
and you may not gonna
pass
be
away, when you pass away, they're just gonna replace you.
they
You
gonna
know,
replace you quick, fast. Quick,
you
fast.
already have your
That's true.
backup. I applied for
That's
your
true.
job like 2 days ago. So when you walk away, I won't be able to teach them nothing, but I'm gonna have my December's off too.
But I would take time right here to plug the fact that having a job where that is available is the key. So I'm a firm believer in working in a place that suits you. You see what I'm saying? So there's not all the places that will give you the work-life balance. So it seems like the four of us, we're in a great space. Like, I don't have to worry about that. Like Jess said, my job is amazing in terms of work-life balance. In France, they have their shutdown during the summer. We have our shutdown during Christmas time. Like, it's just and when you're off, no one, the expectation is for you to be off. If you're around and you're doing stuff, that's great. But for the most part, it's there. And so I think that a lot of that depends on the work culture and the people where you choose to work. Sometimes, you'll be in a good environment and you'll get some type of manager, you'll get something that kind of, maybe ruins the whole thing. But you need to, make sure that you're in environments where, it's conducive to what you want. Because, just like Brian said, they'll find someone to replace you in a hot minute when you're gone. But secondly, it's easy for the work to overtake you and to keep doing it, because every project, just like we talked about, everything's important, because that's why businesses, if there wasn't a need for that particular item, the business wouldn't be there. So, there's always something to do. So you have to be in a place that suits your work environment, suits your work style, for sure.
Yeah. For me as a single woman, in terms of protecting my mental space, sometimes it gets lonely around the holidays, right?
Mm.
So for me, it's imperative that I make plans to be with people that love me, right? So I go to Philadelphia. I went to Philadelphia for Thanksgiving to be with my father, my brothers, my aunts, my uncle, right? So they love me. You gotta be with people that love you. So important, and like this holiday season, I'm not gonna do the whole month, but I'm going to South Florida to be with my aunt and uncle and my cousins and my cousins' children. Though if anybody love you, the people who gonna be crying at your funeral, you gotta spend time with them, because they the ones that gonna be crying at the funeral. It's not gonna be, well, maybe if you have a good work life, your coworkers may cry as well. But not like your family would. Come on, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I wanted to just bring up the point that one of the things that single people may struggle with at work is that because you're single, you're expected to cover.
Yeah.
And you don't get first dibs on some of the biggest holidays and things like that. And I think it's really important to establish that boundary, early on, so that it's balanced across in everybody that you work with. So yes, I may not have a husband or children, but I still have a family
Absolutely.
I want to spend time with. So, I actually, just like you said, encourage, single people who might feel lonely, don't bury yourself in work, but yeah, spend time with the people that you love and that love you back, because um, for one, that's your support system.
Yep.
And they're the ones who are going to miss you when you're gone.
Yep. Everybody deserves the holidays.
Everybody.
Single and married. All right, next question. In STEM careers, burnout often hides behind productivity. How do you recognize early signs of imbalance during the holidays? So I think Kamoy was talking about that. You try to overwork yourself, you know, and you're imbalanced, and it happens maybe even if you're depressed or lonely on the holidays. How do you how what kind of signs are there? What are the signs of imbalance? I just think doing too much. Like doing too much is a sign of imbalance. Like you just yeah, I'm recently reading a book called Design Your Life. It's awesome. It's made by Stanford professors. I'm in the process of reading it. And one of the assignments that they gave was to like ask what gives you energy and what drains you. What you know, what do you love to do? What gives you like lose makes you lose energy? And I actually took Chat GPT, and because I've been using it for quite a bit, and I asked that question in a detailed way, and it revealed to me a lot of the things that I love to do, and it revealed to me a lot of things that I hate to do. And I saw it. I'm like, got it. I'm avoiding the technical stuff, and I'm staking with the visionary stuff. And it helps center you in to be like, just don't do a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, I made the animation today, which was kind of technical, but I actually enjoyed it. I had to put Bryant in the cartoon, So, but things like coding and statistical analysis and stuff like that that I hate, because in my mind that still was creative, even though it had some technicality. It was creative. I realized I love to create and be visionary. I do not like to do detailed, busy work. And when you find yourself doing all of it, that's a sign. What about you guys? What do you guys think a sign is for um imbalance that leads to burnout?
I think it shows up sometimes like Ebenezer Scrooge. You start becoming angry, very annoyed by little things, or overwhelmed by things that really should be something that's very easy for you to accomplish in a short amount of time. Um, or you start to isolate yourself more. You may start becoming depressed,
Mm.
not doing the things you like, not spending time with your family. Um, yeah, I, those are the top things that come to mind.
Yeah, okay. So grumpy. I love that. My mom was like coming to work late, coming to work late, and lack of organization. Um, and like you said, grumpiness and just overworking. Anybody else? Signs that you're burnt out and unbalanced?
Yeah, for me, I when I read this one, it was an interesting one because like typically there's no sign for me. I'm just working, just working, working, working. And so I don't really realize it until I stop. And then once I stop, then it's just like, oh wow, you know what? Like, this is it feels different, you know what I mean? And so I don't know, because it's just once I get on a roll, you're kind of, get into a rhythm. But you need that time, that balance in order to kind of get fresh and get right. So yeah, sometimes you just those planned breaks, definitely holidays are perfect because you have to take those, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
For me, I'm fortunate because my wife, she makes me go places.
Uh-huh.
So,
So having
and
a
so,
wife that's balanced yourself, like,
yeah,
will
yeah,
like
yeah,
balances
yeah.
you out. Both of y'all not overworkers. That's important.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, she has me go and do things here and there. And so then it's like, okay, you know what? And you take the time. And then it kind of helps because then you're like, okay, you know what? Yeah, this is it's time apart. This is something that, it's good to sit and kind of do nothing or relax a little bit.
Like stick a pin. I think that's so critical. Having someone, if you're out of balance, having someone else to notice it and pull you out of it is critical. Um, or somebody who's opposite your temperament who loves to do certain things. They have ideas which you just don't necessarily have the idea, but you're willing to go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
that
don't, I have no desire. Like I'm not a concert goer or any of that stuff. But like,
yeah,
hey,
cool.
we're gonna
Yeah.
go see this play. We're gonna go do this. All right.
Yeah, that's important to have relationships that do that. Yeah, awesome, awesome. Brian, oh, go ahead, Kamoy.
No, I was gonna also mention that sometimes your body can tell you
Mm,
on if you are pretty much aware of your body. Certain symptoms can actually tell you what's going on. Aches and pains, headaches, insomnia, things like that. Your blood pressure is higher. You start to develop certain diseases, things like that. Your body can really tell you what's going on. A lot of us, if we check our shoulders sometimes,
Yeah, the shoulders, man. That's my shoulders.
realize how much tension you have in your shoulders.
Shoulders are a mess.
But yeah, pay attention to your body. Sometimes it could tell you exactly
That's
what's
the doc talking.
that's a doctor talking. She telling you what it is. That's so true.
talking to
And,
my
and my body knows when I go on holidays. Every time I go on holidays, I start getting the sniffles. Like just like go lay down. Go lay down. Oh my gosh. Burnout, burnout. Brian,
I honestly don't know what that is.
you don't know what
must be.
No, but
must
seriously,
be nice.
oh, it is nice. It is nice. So they say federal workers don't work, don't really do any work. We just sitting there, just twiddling our thumbs or playing with our fidget spinners. No, kind of what Kamoy said. Your body is your really telltale sign. Your lack of sleep, maybe your appetite swings, what you found enjoyable, you don't. You begin to snap at people. Your attitude changes. Somebody walks up and says, "Hey," you're like, "What do you mean by that?" "Hey, it's for horses." Something crazy. We just start and they're like, "You're not yourself." That's probably where those Snickers commercials came from. But
Yeah, take a break.
it's interesting being black and brown and where we've gone through that we don't really understand what burnout looks like. All we see is work. All we see is a task needs to be done. We need to do it. We were kind of bred that way instead of taking a moment to really think, is this really important? What is the cost of it? While it is necessary, is it that important that it costs me those extra 30 minutes up? Those extra 30 minutes at night might affect my morning, might affect my drive into work, might affect my eating choices, all because I felt as though this work needed to be done. It'd be nice if there was some type of class, something to kind of tell people what are the not just the warning signs, but what are the what leads to burnout? What type of activities would lead to burnout? And it doesn't work for everybody. Everyone is different, but there's some common thread in burnout. And most of the time it's taking on someone else's emergencies as they are your own and treating it as such.
Right.
Yeah, Brian, I love what you said there, man, because I think you're spot on with that. I think we're on both extremes, though. So, like, we can have the extreme of working all the way too hard, or we'll have the extreme of just like, hey, we over here chilling, like we could. And it is. It's one of those. one of those things that no one teaches you about. No one teaches you about. I really didn't know. I tell people all the time because it's an interesting thing. I didn't know about PTO till I was like late 20s, right? Because I was just working. You know what I mean? Like the thought of working, like not working and getting paid, was just kind of foreign to me because I had, starting, like, I was doing my own business, so it was just like, bro, you were always doing something because you had to make sure stuff was coming in. But when I started working for an actual company, it never even dawned on me that was the case, you know. And so yeah, it's one of those where it is something that has to be taught. Some people know, you know what I mean, I guess, but yeah, it's one of those things that definitely should be taught.
Yeah, we're gonna move on, but I know with me with PTO, it's so hard because I have so many holidays, but I have 4 PTO days outside of my holidays that I can take without losing. And there was a point in time where you just roll it over and it just rolls over as 6 sick days, but then 4 of them will not roll over. You will lose 4 of 4 days. And um but it wasn't until like maybe I was traveling with friends and they were like, "Well, we're gonna go at this specific time, so you could take your PTO or you just miss out on the trip." Right? Then I was like, "Okay, let me do that." And I was, but I had to have balance. I'm like, "Okay, but choose a day. Like, can we choose this day where I could? I don't want to adjunct teaching my students this topic. I want to teach, So I would do it when I had a reason to. But other than that, like I have a lot of days off. So, but when I had a
Mhm.
reason to take it off, I took it off. Next question. In STEM careers, sorry, what strategies help you stay present with family while still meeting your lab, your clinic, your technology, your teaching responsibilities? How do you stay present with your family, but you're still able to do your job? I know with me, um, I'm just really adamant about setting boundaries around my time. I think we've been saying this all day. Like I don't take work home that much. If I don't get it done by Friday, like I'm not doing it on the weekend. I'm not working on the weekend. I'm not working at night. I'm not doing it. Um and I used to stay back after work and try to grade exams so that I could get it to them right after they took the test. And I'm realizing, why am I doing this? They're not even looking at their grades. No, I'm going home and I'll grade it tomorrow morning. I had to make that decision because you know what I'm saying. What about you guys? What do you think? What kind of how do you stay present? To me, I just have to make the decision to take everything away and leave everything that is due for work hours, and my time with my family or my own space is coveted.
Um, so one of the things that I notice, I travel quite a bit, and one of the things that I noticed that's very unique to us here in the US is the culture of work
Yeah,
versus almost everywhere else that I've been,
Mhm.
where it's a culture of living.
yeah,
So here in the US, we tend to just want to chase money, chase money, chase money. Um, and the more you have, the more you want. And there's not like a limit.
yeah,
What point do you say, you know, I need to live some life? I need to spend time with my family. I need to spend time with my friends. I need to, you know, um, I need to have some balance here. Because what is the point of just working, working, working to chase money? Sometimes it could be for a particular, passion that you have. But at the end of the day, what good is that if you're not getting rest? Your health is declining, and quality time with the people you love is non-existent.
right.
And I think because the culture around us is like that, it doesn't seem abnormal. But when you go to other places, you know, people they work, but they definitely take time off to take a break, and they do what they need to do to get the job done, and then they stop because now it's time for family. It's time for time for my body to reset. They sit down for hours and have dinner together. In some places that I've been, it's like hours. People will just sit for hours after dinner and just
And just talk.
right. And
Yeah.
we don't
Yeah,
do
that's great.
here. We're just
Right.
go 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 go. You gotta do this, you gotta do that. Um, so at least for me, I've adopted I'm trying to change my mindset around. I guess that's my strategy of, yes, I have a job to do. I feel like I have a purpose in what I do, but at the same time, if I'm harming myself in that process, then I've passed the limit. So I need to know, when do I stop? And I think I figured it out for the most part. When to stop, take a break, reset, reconnect with the people that are important to you, and then go back at it after you've reset.
Yeah. Love it. I'm similar. Brothers, why you smiling so hard, Bryant? Talk to me.
All right, so it's interesting how those who do not have their immediate family, and I wish the two of you will get one. I want to add that to prayer. At
I
some point, you want to take a break from them
I
because
received it.
they are there. They are there, and so um, the two men know about family and always being around family, and so sometimes work becomes a break. But
Got it.
Kamoy, something you said, which is very interesting, is that, and I believe America is founded on two C's. It's two different C's. There's capitalism and then there's contentment. Everyone else is fine with contentment. They are happy with what they got. They only worry about what they need. Where here in America, we've been bred to think of capitalism as the only way. We don't want to be a third world country. We want to continue to earn because money is identity and it's power.
Hmm.
It costs so much more, but that's where we've been bred. So that's why we're working, 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 because we're not chasing after the money. We're chasing after what the title that the money brings. It sets us in a different class. Doesn't matter if our family is below it. We are up here where, like you said, other countries, they know where true wealth is in spending time with the people that you love, spending time with people that actually care, that can pour into you and fill in those cracks as you're pouring out for others. So that's all I'm really smiling about. It's like, man, it's really about capitalism versus contentment. And it is in our hearts and where we came from, contentment was what was naturally in us, which is why we're givers, why we've given so much to this culture, so much to this country. But spending so much time in it, capitalism is slowly just pushing its way in where that becomes our identity. So just that. And then also when you get your family, which you will get a family. Come back to us 5 years from now and be like, man, I want to go to work.
I want to go to work.
I want to
Tell
go.
them, tell them. No.
I'm tired of
Oh,
y'all.
it's
I'm
all
going
fun
to
and
work.
games. It's all fun and games.
But
We
nah,
love
watch.
them
I'm gonna
dearly,
say it.
though.
Appreciate the perspective. I will definitely.
That's a good perspective to have. That's a different perspective to have. That's for sure. My mom was talking about how every Thanksgiving she went to work and let her she was a supervisor for the public health department, let them go out. And partially because I was always gone for Thanksgiving. So she was by herself at home. So she's like, I'll go to work. And different people have different lives. And work sometimes is a way to spend time with people, right? And so you got to see that as well. Um, but just don't burn yourself out. That's for sure. Last question: how can STEM professionals leverage the holiday season for reflection, planning for career growth, rest, and personal goals for the upcoming year? Shout out to Don. What's up, Don? How you doing? What happened? Oh, sorry. The economy used to need a single income. No one used to work an extra job, but overachievers. Now, two jobs or multiple incomes are necessary for a household. And yeah, so that's a good point, Don. Like it's required nowadays.
But this is one thing that I tell folks all the time is that, and it's a delicate balance being in the US, right? Because there's so much stuff that we want to do and so much stuff we see that's obtainable, right? But if you really stop and you think and you look at some of the stuff that you can have if you just kind of balance your life. So if I'm living on a teacher salary, like I have to make sure that I don't go and buy something crazy. You see what I'm saying? And so like I've seen it so many times where people that have jobs that you wouldn't think, okay, you look at STEM and you say, okay, that's going to bring X amount of dollars. But then you look at a teacher and you're like, okay, this is the wages, right? But a teacher that actually can manage their money and actually say, all right, you know what? I can manage living here. I can manage driving this. I can manage doing that. Can still end up with more discretionary income than a STEM person. And
That's
so
right.
I think that's the distinction. And it's one of those things that, okay, you know what? All right, what am I comfortable with giving up? What am I comfortable with staying with? What is my level of content? Like what would make me content? And what am I cool with? And I think that that's a fine line because in the US, as I said, so much stuff is obtainable. You look and you're like, okay, if I work, I work, I work, I can do that. I can do this. Where in some places in the world, it's just they see that, but it's like, okay, you know what? I'm good with where I'm at right now. Right? I'm cool with just going to my flat and eating dinner with my family, right?
Flat. He's
And
talking
so
about shout out to all the people from England that watch. I do have I do have a lot of people from the UK
yeah,
that
yeah,
watch
yeah,
my
yeah.
my channel.
And so, but I think that's the and that's another balance. It'll go back to work life, right? Not overextending yourself, but living the life that you want according to your income. You see what I'm saying? So if you want to do X, Y, and Z, then yeah, you may need to be in this field. But if you don't need all that, then yeah, you could be in this field, but you have to govern yourself accordingly, because yes, there's people that have a ton of cash but are strapped, you
Yeah,
know.
and that's where financial literacy is just
Mhm.
important for everyone, is including those in STEM, because many people just have planned, oh, I want to make 100,000. Even now, 100,000 don't make a lot of money
Mhm.
right now. 200,000, no, I'm good. But I mean, do you know what to do with your money? And I always recommend this game. It's called Cash Flow. I got it from Brandon. Cash Flow. It's based off of Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad. I encourage anybody that has teenagers to have their children play that game to understand how it works. You can be a teacher, just make sure that you have other types of income, maybe a
Mhm.
rental property, and you can make more than an engineer or have the same discretionary income as an engineer if you do your teaching, but you also have this stream of income, and this set yourself up literacy wise. Financial literacy is
Game costs
important.
$80.
Huh?
That
Yeah.
game costs
It's
$80.
worth it's $75. I think it's worth every penny.
I like your rounding, Brian.
A
That's
lot of
the Brian. That's the way
are
to do
are,
it.
are cost more than that. So that sounds like a great gift for your kid.
He 10. He just gonna have to wait. We'll work with payday from 1970s.
Hold
Park him.
on, come on, happy tonight. Come on, what he said? What's more worth more than that? What
I
costs
know
more
I'm
than that?
saying a lot of people buy Christmas gifts for their kids that cost more than that. So $80 doesn't sound too bad.
That's right. A pair of Jordans. Don't buy them. Don't know Jordans. Instead of buying Jordans, buy them cash flow game. Don says Monopoly. Monopoly does not have
No.
anything on cash flow. Monopoly just teaches you how to compete with people in buying stuff. but cash flow teaches you the theory of expenses, assets versus liabilities, how to write an expense portfolio, how to understand that if you have kids too early, you're gonna be messing with your cash flow. All the things in the world that mess with your class, everything in the world that can mess with your cash flow is in that game. And it's just so educational. But financial literacy, especially for people in STEM, because I feel like we spent a lot of time learning math and science. We did
Mhm.
not learn financial literacy, and it shows sometimes. Um, last question. Last question. Unless anybody have anything else to say. Yeah. Last question. Oh, no. We're still in the last question because we didn't really answer this question. Reflection. Like, how do you plan for career growth? How do you make personal goals? So I'll start. I use December to make a lot of goals for the next year. December is usually my year. Number one, I watch all the financial shows on CNBC, Bloomberg, and I see what they predict the stock market will look like in the following year. Do it, and I've been doing it for years, and they've been spot on. So usually, like for instance, they said this year it would be between 6,900 and 7,100. You could go ahead and check it out, Brian. What it is? It is what they said it would be. You were checking out the cash flow information. You might as well check.
Yes, I was on eBay. I had to go to eBay where I could get it, and I just made an offer for $22. So we'll see if that works. If that does, then I got a little more cash flow.
Oh, shout out to eBay. Shoot.
No, are they paying you? Because I wouldn't shout them out unless they paying
Oh,
you.
my bad. No, forget y'all. But the stock market, I look to see how that. I also make plans about what I plan to do for my business. I also use the last few days weeks of the semester to use my, what do you call that? The mental health thing that comes with your job. What do you call that thing again? Can't remember. I haven't done it
That's
this year.
Oh, the EAP.
Use
EAP.
that EAP. Use that EAP. Get those 8 days of free mental health therapy to
Mhm.
talk to people, to make emotional plans for the year. That's what I do. I use the holiday month. I use it to get my mammogram. I use it to get my blood work and ask the my PPO. What? No, not my PPO. What do you call that person that? Not my gynecologist, but the other one that I only go once a year to. What's that, Kamoy? Primary care. PCP. Is it PCP?
Yeah, PCP.
Primary care practitioner. Like,
Oh,
I
okay.
get my
You
mental
talking about
health.
taking drugs? So I'm getting off this.
Yeah. What about you guys? How do you use the holiday season for reflection or planning for the upcoming year?
I do the same as you, Maya.
Okay.
I actually have a little whiteboard on my refrigerator, and every year I update it for things that I want to accomplish for the year. And I include, just like, since we're talking about balance, I include, all the things that I need to work on, right? Spiritual, financial,
Mhm.
um, fitness, all these other things that I need to work on. I make sure it's on that board, and I try to. It's a daily reminder for me, but also, it helps me to, you know, check things off and make sure that I'm accomplishing all the things that I set out to accomplish.
Yeah, yeah. Anybody else? Donna's still caught up in the multiple jobs. Um,
Might have much as that.
yeah, a lot of times teachers don't get paid a lot. Number one, and that's why a lot of teachers are women. Let's be real. A lot of teachers are women, and they're usually married women who
Mhm.
have husbands that have another income. A lot of people have to leave teaching profession if they don't if they're single. But like I said before, there are ways to do a teaching salary, but also have other multiple streams of income if you're passionate about being a teacher. Play the cash flow game; it'll show you. Get a rental property, rent out a room, like you said, a roommate. Instead of getting a roommate, get a Brian's like roommate.
Yeah,
I had a roommate at one point, and it paid off my student loans.
yeah. That's what I was gonna say too. As people that look like us, we have to make sure that we educate people about the dangers of student loans, right?
Hmm.
Because if you're a teacher and you come out the gates and you don't have any student loans,
You
and
good?
someone says you're going to make 70 grand or 60 grand, well, you know what I'm saying? Then you can get something and you can kind of start, you can keep moving a little bit. But if someone says you're making 60, 70, and then you have
Two
80,000,
hundred thousand.
you see what I'm saying? And so that automatically kind of hurts. And so, a lot of everybody ingrained, you got to go to school, you got to go to college, you got to go to college, you got to go to college. But no one thinks about, all right, you got to pay for college, you got to pay for pay for college. And so, going to the state schools, making decisions of saying, okay, you know what, maybe I can't go to that private institution, or I can't go out of state, right? Because I got to watch this money. Or if I want to do that, yeah, I got to work hard to get these scholarships, right? Those things matter. Those
They
things,
do.
yeah, those things
They
matter.
they matter. They matter. And so we're talking about work life balance, but we coming back to this concept of financial
Oh yeah,
literacy.
my fault.
No, 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 no. I'm
My
not. No,
fault.
no. But to your point, it's hard to have work life balance if you're
Yes.
not financially literate. One of the main rules that I've learned is think about whatever job you want to be. Shout out to TenYearMe. Think about any job you want to be, and find out how much it costs. I mean, how much you make. Speaking of which, let me go to my QR code. I have a tool here. You could go on this QR code. This is my toolkit. And one of the first things in my toolkit is a chat bot that can tell you how much you will make as a specific type of career. And whatever that number is, let's say your first year work, you get paid $80,000 a year. That is how much you should be able to take out in student loan.
Mm,
If you
that's
want to be a teacher and you're only making 40,000, 50,000, then you can only take out $50,000 worth of student loans. I'm talking about for your whole education. I'm
okay.
not talking about for the bachelor's. And knowing that will make you make different decisions in terms of what school you will go to, your efforts in getting scholarships. Because in order I have a great work-life balance. One of the reasons I have a great work-life balance as a professor, I'm not really a elementary school or high school teacher, so I make more than them, right? But even still, I have a great work balance because I don't have any student loans. I don't have any credit card debt. I don't have any pressure. I'm about to be mortgage free, knock on wood, next year, at the end of next year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with that freedom
Freedom.
comes the freedom. I don't have to I won't have to work, right? Because I have multiple streams of income. I have retirement set up. When you have that freedom, it leads to a lot of the time, unfortunately, in America at least, work life balance. And so check out this toolkit.
Yeah. Yeah. And what you're saying is so important. I think it goes back to what I was mentioning before is when you have the financial freedom, your moves look a little different. So like when you feel you have to stay at a specific job because you can't take another month or 2 months to find something else, then that becomes a situation where, all right, I'm in this job, I don't have work-life balance, but I got to stay here. So it always puts that pressure on, and so yeah, no, it's good. But to go back to your original question, I do what y'all do too. December, I make my list, go through all the things, and have the check boxes like what do I really want to be in life? You know what I'm saying? Am I striving for those goals? And what kind of husband am I being? What books am I reading to do that? What things am I doing to be that
Mhm.
right father? What am I doing in next year to do, X, Y, and Z? And so I have maybe 4 or 5 different categories and outline those things. And so Yes, that's what December is going to be. And then also to the same thing for a job. Like what kind of projects are we working on? What are we, what are the timelines for those? How are those things going to go? What do we need to do to meet those? So December, and none of it is nothing super, there's no real pressure in it all, just ease into it, just think about it as the time goes by for the 2 weeks that I'm going to, I'm going to be out. So yeah, but that's the nature. That way you're not going into the year blind, and you have some benchmarks.
Yeah, use the holiday. Ho ho ho. Ho ho ho.
But this could be the
Merry
stimulus in us
Christmas.
talking, right? Making lists, making sure.
Making that list.
Like this is
Checking
really
it
STEM.
twice. That's the
Like
STEMist.
yeah, so
That's a
that really
that's a
like you
Brian.
can't get any more STEM than what we're talking about here. I'm not gonna lie.
Can't get any more STEM. We're good at that. We're good at planning. Come on, you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I do want to acknowledge that, the society that we live in now, and even if you don't have student loans, you get an education, you don't have student loans, the cost of living
Yeah.
is exponentially higher than when we were in our, younger years and, just starting,
Yeah,
came
you
out
know
of
what, Kamoy?
that.
I'm not, I don't want to cut you off, but look, here's the thing that I will say about that, right? Yes, everything is higher, right? Everything is higher. And I saw something not too long ago. It was like $100,000 now is probably
Like
the
40,000 in
yeah,
the
like
90s.
so yeah, 100%. You're 100% right. But I will tell you straight up, some of the jobs that I see and the compensation that matches it is is different. It's different. So like if you go to start working at Disney, where yes, you may come in at $17 an hour, but that's totally different than when we were starting out working. You know what I'm saying? So it's still a different, it's still a different compensation than what we were. And so I think the compensation still is going up. I think it's just like anything else. Is how much do you want to go out and look for that. But even my son working at Arby's, right? It's like he's making pretty decent money. He's not breaking the bank. It does go up, but yeah, eggs, all that stuff is up. But like just as some of this compensation I'm seeing, I'm like,
It's outrageous. Like
yeah, these are some
Arby's is like
different numbers.
$17 an hour when it used to be
Yes,
$3 an hour at.
yes,
But
yeah.
but but let Kamoy finish her point. Go ahead. Go ahead. Finish your
Well,
point.
I'm actually glad you brought that up, because I think one of the concerns is that, salaries or wages have not gone up, income, at the same rate that the cost of living has gone up. So
Yeah.
I think we still have to acknowledge that there is that barrier. Even if you come
Mm.
out without student loans, it's still very hard to get ahead, to be able I bring that up not to say that, you should just sit and not do anything about it. I think
Mm.
you're going to have to learn to make adjustments, right? Like you said, for a period of time, you may have to get a roommate, or you may have to stay living at home for a longer period of time. I lived at home until I don't remember. I was old when I left home.
35.
Yeah,
I
so
lived at 35.
yeah, I think I was 31. I don't remember when I left home. Or you know what? I know I rented from my parents, right? So
Yeah, I rented from my parents at
I didn't have
21.
as much privacy as I wanted, but it was also the sacrifice I chose to make so that I could, get a head start on my student loans. So I lived like way below my means.
Mm-hmm.
Did not inflate my lifestyle until those student loans were completely gone. And even then, I inflated enough to just enjoy some things that I wanted to enjoy. But at a certain point, you may not need, not may not, you don't need to have certain things. It's just, what are you getting it for? To show off to people or whatever? But be willing to make the adjustment, because this is a society that you live in. And then also get involved. You can't check out the things that you need to get involved in, decisions that are being made that affect your life. You can't just check out and then cry, woe is me. You have to be involved, and you have to be willing to make adjustments in order to survive and to make it.
And I appreciate your way. I think what you're
Mhm.
saying is we're acknowledging that this is not fair. We have to be involved and vote and do certain things. At the same
Mhm.
time, we have to be realistic as to what it is for what it is, and we have to make adjustments and deflate our lifestyle because we can make it if we deflate. I've seen it from in my experience. I stayed home longer, gave rent to my mother. That helped her financially be debt free. Then I was able to set myself up to move out into my own real estate, and I made decisions to deflate my lifestyle so that I can also be debt free. Like, it's not fair, but life ain't fair, especially for people of color. So let's fight the power, but also make adjustments.
Yeah.
Let's do both. Um, I love it. I love it. I don't know how we got into fight the power off of working, but hey, it is what it is. It was a great conversation, guys. Thank you so much. Starting next year, we've been doing this for a year and a half. We've been
Yes.
doing this for a year and a half. This is episode 17, y'all. Awesome, awesome. And we're coming back next year, but new time. New time. So that Kamoy can have her work-life balance.
Down.
We're coming back at noon. Noon, not 7 anymore. It depends on the Sunday. It's definitely not gonna be first Sunday next year, but it's gonna be Sunday, whatever Sunday we choose, at noon. Guys, I am the phenomenal STEMist, and so are they. So are you. Thank you so much. Happy New Year. Happy
Yes.
holidays. Wave to the camera, Brian.